Hi, and welcome to this edition of Inside COD. I'm Joash Mencias. On our show today, we have COD's Outstanding Faculty Member of the Year, Chris Miller. So let's jump right in and find out what drives his passion for teaching and working with today's students. Thanks for being here today, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
So again, you were recently named COD's Outstanding Faculty Member for 2015. What was your initial reaction when you heard that news?
My initial reaction was, it's about time. No, I'm just kidding. I thought my initial reaction was silence, and then just elation, to be honest with you. I've always admired the outstanding faculty members. Every year at the beginning of the year, we do these speeches at the beginning of the year, and I love watching them. And I love watching my colleagues showcase, themselves. I love watching them talk about their passion for teaching and their students and their subject matter. And I was just elated that I was part of that unique community and humbled, very, very humbled by it.
And a student who nominated you for this award said, quote, "He has a passion for not only what he does, but how his students do in his class and after his class." So how did you get started teaching, and where did you get your teaching passion specifically for speech and communications?
To be honest with you, I got my passion for teaching speech and communication from my mentor, Judy Santa Catarina. She's actually out at Northern Illinois University. I received my bachelor's and my master's degree. When I first came to NIU, to Illinois from California, Judy was the first person. She actually picked me up from the airport, and from the very beginning, not only did she teach me about speech communication, because I learned that from a lot of different professors, but one thing I learned from Judy was to create this family atmosphere. Speech communication has really two things. How do you accomplish a task, but also how do you build relationships? And Judy was real good, not only teaching me about speech communication, but also about how to build relationships. So I'd say from Judy. And
aside from helping to teach how to build relationships, what's your teaching philosophy like? To always remember what it's like to be a student. I started at a community college, Solano Community College out in California, and I came to the community college just wanting to go to college but not knowing how to get started. And I think that my philosophy is fundamentally grounded, if you will, in that perspective. Remember what it's like to be a student. They have each student has a unique story, the reason that they're here, and they want to get somewhere. And that's what I wanted. And so I try to remember that when I'm in the classroom. My students are just like me, so I'm going to try to remember what it's like to be them, and hopefully get them on the right path. Here at COD, you also help prepare student college ambassadors, and you help during the new student orientation. So what advice do you give to student ambassadors in terms of welcoming new students to the college without being overbearing to new students?
Yeah. I tell my student ambassadors, as well as the students at new student orientation, to just be honest. To be honest. Tell their story. When someone asks them why they're here, tell them why you're here. Tell them what you've learned. If they ask you something, negative about the college, be honest. Everyone has a unique story. Everyone has a unique experience, and I think that they should share that with them. The more they share, the more honest that they are, then the more real it becomes. Tell them it's hard. Tell them it's difficult. Tell them there's some wonderful opportunities for them. But primarily, just be honest. It's easy. It's easy to do it that way, and they can also be consistent. So that's what I tell them when they start off and as they continue through the program.
And you used to host a fun video series for COD called That Bleepin Show. And this video, which is on YouTube, this video series showcased your humor. So where do you think you got your sense of humor from?
I think growing up, I got it from my Uncle Mike. He used to make my family, in particular my grandma, laugh quite a bit, and I always admired that. So I was always envious and I guess sort of secretly wanted to be as funny as he was. And I don't know if I certainly didn't copy his brand of humor. My humor has really just evolved from going through my life experiences and telling my students about that. I've had my fair share of tragedy. I've had my fair share of, comedic moments, but I get older every year, and, hair falls out, pounds don't shed. And I tell my students that. So I take my stories, my personal tragedy stories, the things that I've gone through, and I share that with my students. And
somehow humor comes out of that. So, and I like that. I like the fact that my students, I tell them early on when they come to my class, I'm going to try to make you laugh, and whatever I need to do. I don't try to sacrifice my teaching for that, but humor keeps them in the seats. Humor keeps them awake, and humor gives them a confidence that they might not have normally have had. So. I try to be funny in the class. How did it happen? I don't know. But if I keep people laughing and I keep myself laughing, it's another reason just to keep coming back to work.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining us today. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Joash Mencias for Inside COD, and don't forget to like us on social media.